just one more Hail Mary. Just one more, actually, is all it sometimes takes. And that was true for St. Albert the Great. You know, he entered the Dominican order because of the preaching that he heard from Blessed Jordan of Saxony. And he says that he was already quite well advanced in knowledge, but as a friar, he did still, I guess, struggle with some of his studies at times. And after a while, he grew a little bit discouraged because he wasn't quite getting it. And so, for that reason, he was actually going to abandon his vocation. One day he secretly placed a ladder on the wall of the monastery to escape. But before he left, he decided, well, I'll kneel down to pray one final Hail Mary. And he then left, and as he climbed the ladder, who was waiting for him on the ladder except for the Mother of God, who heard that one final Hail Mary? And he told her why he was leaving, and Our Lady, who is always most gracious, rebuked him, but rebuked him gently, and told him that all he had to do was ask her for help. Our Lady then gave him the greatest knowledge, human knowledge of all the sciences, everything from A to Z pretty much: philosophy, chemistry, zoology, geography, astronomy, botany, mineralogy, and so on and so forth. He was the most brilliant man that has ever lived. In fact, to confirm this, we have to remember that he was also the teacher of St. Thomas Aquinas, who was also among the most brilliant minds in all of history, and both of them Catholics. Well, you know how the story goes. It was told to St. Albert that before he died, all of this human knowledge would be taken away from him, and that he should then begin preparing himself for his death. It was a sign of his coming death, and so he did. Well, I was thinking today, Mary, our Blessed Mother, is the mother of all men, and she knows all of their spiritual needs. Remember that the happiness of the blessed in heaven, of the saints, wouldn't be complete if they didn't know what happens on earth as far as it concerns them, because of either the role that they had on earth, or their office, their position, or their relationship with the men on earth. Their happiness would not be complete. And this knowledge that the saints have in heaven of wanting to know what is going on earth is a desire that must be satisfied in beatitude, in heaven. So, for example, fathers and mothers who are now in heaven, they want to know, and so they do know, what is going on with their children on earth. Priests and pastors who are now in heaven, they look down and they want to know, and they do know, the needs of their parishioners here on earth. And the popes who are in heaven, they know everything that's going on in the church today, and they pray for us. And the same with the founders of religious institutes and other classes of men. But the same is said of Our Lady, because as mother of all men, she must know all that concerns the spiritual life of men. Whether it directly or indirectly relates to it, she must know. And she has a knowledge of all of it, a certain and a detailed knowledge of all of it. Our thoughts, our desires, the dangers that we find ourselves in, the graces that we need, the temporal affairs that have some connection to our eternal salvation. She knows all of this, and she is mindful of it. And therefore she is always also praying for us. We must remember that Our Lady's prayer is omnipotent. That is, it can accomplish all things. So all we have to remember to do while we sit around and worry and fret about this thing or that is to stop and remember to say just one final Hail Mary. And our Mother, the Mother of all men, will come down and take care of whatever the problem might be. If you kneel down now, we'll begin our novena to Saint Gertrude.